Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast. We are on United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. And tonight we are waiting on a guest, our guest, Mr. Runningcrane from the Blackfeet Reservation. Cryptid investigator, 40 years. We're just waiting for him to get on, and then we're gonna bring him on. But for right now, my co-host and I are gonna be chatting away with you guys. Hope all is well with you out there. And Darren, go ahead and uh, I guess we'll start we'll start off with any of the your encounters or any of your stories you got going on from your side.
But oh yes, well, as for I want everybody to know
Yeah.
on this the podcast is I'm not going in as a as a non-believer. I'm actually on this uh, for the reasons of finding the reasons why some stuff happens at night. The reason why I uh, had the Bigfoot encounter that we talked about on another show, and also a dogman encounter that I had out there in Farmington, Arizona, when I was driving to work early in the morning. Um, actually, Dan, I always post stuff about UFOs is because I always see them. And for 1 week, uh, I posted nothing but these UFOs that were flying around, floating around out there in Rama for a whole week,
Okay.
nonstop, like every on the hour. It was at night. We sat there next to a water tank, me and my brothers, and we seen UFOs. Believe it or not, for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours every night for a whole week. Um, it got so normal that I actually tried to get my whole community to go out there and see them with me. Like I wasn't shy about it because it was happening. Like it goes beyond rhyme or reason when you see stuff like these. And that encounter, that show was not the only show UFOs I seen. I actually seen multiple out there in different areas. My first one was out there in Cameron, Arizona, and just about 2 weeks ago, I would stop by and visit some family, and we seen them again. We seen them, me and my two cousins out there in Cameron, Arizona, late at night. We seen the exact same
Wow.
UFO
Hmm.
patterns that were going off in New Mexico. Um, I tried to take a video, but some of the quality on my cell phone wasn't too good at that time. And when we were
Hmm.
talking about it, I told him, well, I'll take a video of it so we can at least see it later or have people look at it later. Right when we said that, they just stopped. And I was like, oh man. So, like, obviously, it happens, I seen some in Kansas City, Kansas, when I was working out there. Uh, Also in Grants, New Mexico, me and my brother, Pedro. At the time, we were just cruising down the road, I-40, late at night. It was during the COVID, so they had the reservation uh, kind of had a curfew, so we kind of had to take the back roads going back to the house
Oh
in
yeah.
Rama. So uh, at that time, everyone that was driving on that road, I-40, everybody's seen it. Even the whole like city of Grants, New Mexico, seen it. Right when we pull off at a local gas station, that was the talk. Right when I walked in, everybody was talking about it, and so I wasn't. I had pictures. I drew pictures and everything like that. Um, I have videos of these UFOs. You know, um, it gets pretty weird out there in the 505 New Mexico uh,
Yeah.
area. So just not that. We can do some recordings of just myself talking
Mm,
about these encounters that I have. We had the Bigfoot howling out there on the Navajo reservation. Uh, the werewolf, dogman, whatever you want to call it, um, out there in the border town of the Navajo Nation. Um, even it, all these different stories have a lot of background to them too. So I'm just giving them just a main in look on it. Also, had an incident out there in Globe, Arizona. Um, my brother, he had. It seemed like a haunted apartment building that we were living in. He was living in actually, and we actually got this from a couple of coworkers in the copper mines, Jared, and also another guy, Walt. And for all you UFO people out there, when I talk about Walt, I mean that Walton, Travis Walton. We got it from
fire in the
his.
sky.
Yeah, we got it from
Yeah.
his. Nephew. So
Wow.
so all these
It's pretty
all have
cool.
different backgrounds. Yeah. So
Mm,
he was. They gave it to my brother because he was looking for a place, and then they just told him like there's a bunch of weird stuff that happens. We see shadows, stuff, you know, un unnormal happens around there. So
this
they
is
just kind of
mm, this is out by Fort Apache Reservation, huh? By White
yeah, it's
Mountains
because
and
yeah,
Honda. Yeah,
uh,
that's pretty nice forest out there. I like that area.
yeah. The closest
Um,
reservation was St. Carlos Reservation.
okay.
So it's right there.
Mhm. I had a question. Do you see? I seen a video of this the Navajo Rangers guy. He said that whenever they would see a UFO after like 3 days in between there, they would see Bigfoot around the area. Looking in the
Mm,
windows, walking around, and excuse me. At the end of the 3 days, they would see the same UFO, and they came to they thought like, or they say that they probably getting picked up by these guys. They get dropped off 3 days of wandering around, gathering intel, and then they get picked back up. That's what the Navajo Rangers say. And I was just wondering, like, if you ever had any of that strange correlation going on out there in Rama, New Mexico.
Uh, yes, I actually manage. I tell my family about this when they or people. I tell them the same thing. Like, when people see UFOs or they have one land, uh, keep an eye out. A couple of days later, a Bigfoot might show up.
Hmm.
Uh, who knows why they are what they're doing? Maybe the Bigfoots are aliens. Who knows?
Hmm.
Who possibly knows what these bipedal things are? Really,
Oh yeah.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
people call them aliens, interdimensional beings, inner Earth beings,
Hmm.
spiritual beings, ghosts, phantoms. Man, you name it. The
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
possibilities out there. I actually wanted to get a hold of some people, some Navajos out there that they had Bigfoot talking to them, and they picked them up and took them home, dropped them
Wow.
off at the house.
That's
And
crazy.
the strangest thing about it is these Bigfoot they talk native languages. Like one was talking Apache, talking Apache to a man, and one was talking Navajo. So
Yeah. That
obviously
nice
they they
speech patterns.
talk.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. And
but sadly,
another thing. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, no. I
Mm.
actually keep an eye out
Mm.
for that Bigfoot and the
What
UFOs and
about
stuff like that.
what about little people? You hear any stories like that down there in Rama?
Um, Actually, there's a mountain out here called Distance. A man, he does wildlife photography,
Mm.
uh, and he managed to. take a picture of one, and my mother seen it, and also one of my other relatives that live out here. So I may do some insight on that, little
Mm,
people. But they are here. My one of my friends out there in Pinyon, uh, he actually had encounters with these. They see him all the time inside their
Pinion,
house. To
Pinion,
yeah,
Arizona, huh?
yep. Uh,
Wow.
it gets so bad that they had to call a medicine man in, and what he was saying was the medicine man did not want nothing to do with these because
Oh,
their their medicine is really strong. Some of them, uh, so he actually had to get another guy, another medicine man, to um, tell him more about what's going on and how
mm,
to handle these problems.
yeah.
Uh, what what one of them, the second man said was there are good and bad, just like everything else, everything in this world.
Hmm.
There's always good. There's a bad. You got the good ones. That's what he was saying. Yeah, he's like, you got the friendly ones. There's a portal underneath your house, and that's where they come in. And the reason why they come out is they like watching the kids play. Like how innocent is that? They just like watching the kids laugh and play around outside. Uh,
Mm,
it's as simple as that to the point where, or you get the really mischievous ones where they would, take your car keys, hide your stuff from you, or make you sick, put rotten food in your mouth,
yeah.
or
Uh, yeah. I remember when my grandmother died. That's when I first seen one. He was running around the house, and like for the first month, my mother, my aunt, my uncle, everyone was just crying. Everyone was sad. Everyone was having nightmares. Nightmares. I was even having nightmares as well. And I got up one night, um, from a nightmare, and I seen this little person running underneath the table, trying to hide underneath the chairs, and and it's just I can't explain that. It was a death in the family, and whenever a death in the family would happen, weird things would happen around the house, and especially around family members. But going back to little people, um, I heard this one story out of Crystal, New Mexico. This one boarding school that got closed down. They're saying that these little people are running around the dormitory and throwing the mattress,
mm,
left and right, and they're seeing these little guys jumping around on the beds, running around, and these kids are scared, running away from them. And the dorm maids would see these guys running around and throwing things, in a whole Bay Area. And they were bringing a medicine man too. And this medicine man would try to do what he can, and he'd be like, "Hey, this is the little people's house," and he would say, "This is also the Anasazi's place. The school was built on the Anasazi ruin." So like a lot of that also can be another factor. You build a house on a old ruin or where someone lost their life. That's why when you're on the what the little person look like. Oh yeah, they from what I remember, he looked just like a man, like a little miniature human. 2 feet tall, and from the clothes that he was wearing was his just his own unique clothes. From the best that I could remember, it almost like a little kilt, like a little kilt. That's all I could remember. And he had I just seen his skin, his legs. It was dark brown. And from another witness that backs me up on that is a Navajo guy out in Pinon, Arizona. He said that he was sleeping one night, and he opened his eyes. He felt something, on his whoa, what happened? On his chest, right? And as he barely opened his eyes, and he seen a little person standing on his chest. And that little person he described looked like a Navajo deity, the Yei, the
mm,
Yei Biche. So there was like two of them, he said, standing on his stomach and chest. They were dressed in Navajo Yebiche, and they jumped off his stomach onto the bed and onto the floor. He was trying to get up. He said he couldn't get up. He couldn't, he was falling back to sleep. And these things walked out the room. He got off his bed and he was trying to make his way to the door. By the time he made his way to this door, they closed the front of the door. He ran to the door, and he opened the door and he seen them walking, over yonder off his property area. And that's when he was saying that like the old Navajo deities were, that's where they get their dress from. How they dress their clothes is from the Navajo Yebiche, and that's where we also get a lot of our chants, a lot of our healing ceremonies was from them, from the little people. Hey, there's Mr. Wade Runningcrane. Hey.
Okay. Hello. Hi.
Hey, well,
I don't know how I popped on that. It's like magic.
Oh no,
Hey, you know when you was talking about those little people? I,
yeah.
I remember when me and my uncle we were sleeping on the floor because native families are big families, and
Mm,
my grandma had 8 boys and 8 girls, and we all come from like 11 or more kids, and we were all sleeping on the floor because there wasn't enough beds, for everybody. But
yeah.
we were
mm,
fine with that. We always camped out, and slept on the floor, so we were fine with that. Anyway, we woke up one morning, me and my uncle Nelson, and he nudged me and said, "Wait, look at that!" And this
mm,
little person, about 2 feet, 2.5 feet tall, was standing there looking at us. But it didn't have a mouth this way, it had a mouth this way.
What?
huh, what,
Wow.
huh,
That's crazy.
And, and we got up, let's get it. And we got up, thinking we were going to at least chase it and try to catch it.
Yeah.
And we ran
mm,
in the kitchen. We watched it run around the corner into the kitchen under the wood stove. My grandma cooked on a wood stove, and it ran under there and disappeared. And it just disappeared.
mm.
Jeez. That's
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
portal, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
We thought we seen it. We saw what we saw.
yep,
We're
Yeah.
like looking at each other. Whoa, whoa, you know.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, looking at each other in amazement. Well, this is
But but also this reminds me of my grandfather used to always make us go out like whenever we'd eat supper or dinner or whatever, make us
mm,
go out in the back of the house and leave a little plate of food for the spirits.
oh wow,
Yes.
leave them a little something, huh?
Yes. That's
And
well, one of the medicine man told my friend to do too. Is just give it some food. Just leave a little plate for it. Just I don't know why
Yep,
why so,
you'll
but
be yeah, you'll be missing a lot of things too in your house. You'll be missing car keys. You'll be missing. You're like, hey, it's the
yeah,
little people.
yeah,
Is what we were
yeah,
saying.
it
yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh
just
man.
We
almost
have a
humorous.
word. We have a word for it. Like little people are ghosts, or
Mm,
anything like that, mischievous, and
mm.
it's like a ghost or a little person. Just it's a
Wow.
watch out.
Huh.
Oh man, I'm gonna have
Huh.
to remember that. Here's some weird things that at night, on the reservation, and that's one of the things I'm gonna have to listen out for now. But Mr. Running Crane is from the Blackfeet Nation up there in Montana, and he is a cryptid investigator out there, for 40 years. And Mr. Wade, could you lead us into your first encounter of Sasquatch while you're out there firefighting?
Oh, I'm gonna take up part of the show. Okay,
Oh,
here
No,
hey,
we
it's
go.
your show. It's your show.
it's your
First of
show.
all, I'll start off with we say Okie, hello. if you're one of us, we say Okinapi. You guys are native, so I'll say Okinapi because we're all one,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and
correct.
and and that's how we say Okinapi. Hello, one of like me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
And
okay.
then we don't ever say goodbye. We don't even
Oh
say
yes,
bye. We just say
yeah.
skinny nuts and see you later. That's
Yeah,
that's
Yes,
all.
the
That's
Navajos are the
all.
same way too. We don't
It's
say
that way
goodbye.
yes,
because
sir.
we don't believe in goodbyes.
Mm.
Yep, yeah. We only say goodbye, like when But actually, we don't say goodbye. We say hagone. That means farewell. I'll see you again. So Skinny Munson hagone. Yes, love it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Go ahead
that's
and
what we know.
yeah, yes. Go ahead and lead us into your investigation for our people watching
Okay.
online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'll start off with one time I was a firefighter and EMT paramedic, and I went out firefighting with my crew. Of 22.
Hmm.
I'm sure some of you have been firefighting, kind of know what goes on. But in
Hmm.
Montana, we have the MIF firefighters. MIF standing for Montana Indian Firefighters Association.
Wow.
And we can go to any reservation when there's a major fire anywhere in the United States or
Hmm.
Canada and jump on a crew. They might even send us to South America. You never know. But anyway, um, I jumped on a Fort Belknap crew and I went out with them. Well, I went to Idaho. It's called the Elk Creek Fire, and you can go to Elk Creek National Park. Still to this day, I could show you the spot. It would be an ideal spot to set up a good hunt because I know
Hmm.
Bigfoot would come there again.
Yeah. Nice
Just
area.
if I
Hmm.
was there, I know he'd come there to see me again. I don't know. Me and that Bigfoot have a connection. The one I seen,
Hmm.
uh, I know he'll come back to me.
Hmm.
I'm not afraid of him either.
Right on.
The thing about it, okay, I went out as a firefighter that night or that time in 1986.
Hmm.
We went out on spike camp and we were out fighting fire for about pretty close to 7 days to 6 days and nights. We were out on that spike camp and they just left us out there. But every now and then they'd kind of bring us in food and water, but we
Yeah.
were always short of everything. Never had enough of anything. And just
Hmm.
miserable after that long being out there. Well, finally we got to leave the mountain, our site, and we went back to camp. By the time we got back to camp, it was about 2:30 at night, and they told us, "Okay, everybody eat and take a shower and go to bed." And
Oh.
I was down for that. Heck yeah, I was all for it. Sounded plumb good.
Yeah.
And so anyway, as a medic and making sure all my crew made it back to camp safely, I I was the last one at the showers. After we ate, we all took a shower and went back to camp.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, some of my crew was scattered around, camped out in their own little pup tents, and then the main body of my crew was all huddled together in this one big center. And my boss was right on the trail as I was coming back to our camp, and he was to the right of me. On my way
Hmm.
back from the showers, I looked over and I saw a tame deer. And I hadn't seen no life or anything like alive or, decent. And it kind of made me like feel good. It made me really feel warm. And I thought, wow, a deer. And I said, that's so cool. And I looked up at the housing area where the Rangers all stayed. and they were our security in the camp. And it was our R&R camp. We had
Mhm.
about, I don't know, about roughly 2,900 firefighters all camped out there fighting
That's a
fire.
lot.
And anyway, I watched this creature that was standing upright and getting down on the ground and sniffing and looking around like, just kind of stop and get back on the ground and sniff the ground some more and stand upright again. But every time he would stand upright, holy shit, he was huge. He was tall. He was big. The biggest thing, no human was that tall. And I was like,
Yeah.
what is that? You know, not and at that time. I was already talking to some of my crew in the main body of our base camp. Come on, you
Yeah.
guys, get up. You got to see this. You guys got to Runningcrane. Go to bed. It's late. We're tired.
Uh,
And I told him. Well, anyway, I kind of shut up for a while, and about 10 minutes went by, and I was watching this creature move by these houses. You know how you can see them, like the housing, and then the floodlights outside.
yeah.
Well, when he would walk by a floodlight pole, oh, it was tall. I didn't know what I was looking at. And keep in mind, at this time, I was a skeptic, a doubter. I did not believe they were real. I did
Mm.
not. I did not believe in them. But this creature walked behind the ranger station. And all I remember is after it walked past the housing, then behind the ranger station, and came into our camp, there was this big white gate that it had to pass through to get towards where I was at.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And the area where I was at was our where our mess hall area where we ate and we got
Mm.
our food was served, and
Yeah.
then our HR, our headquarters, our first aid, our property and supply, and so on and so on and so on. Well,
Mm.
anyway, uh, this creature came in through that gate. The first thing it did, it got down on the ground, and how it did it on its fingers and its toes, and looking straight up at me. It couldn't hide
Mm.
in that tall grass. The grass
Yeah.
was about 2.5 feet tall, and it could not hide in the grass because it was too big. You could see
Mm.
it. You could see it sticking up, but it was still on its fingers and toes with its head up, looking right at me, crawling. I had my headlamp, and back then we had Walkmans. I had a
Yeah.
Walkman and a headlamp, and I got them tangled up. And I was trying to get them untangled, and I finally did. And I got my headlamp to where it was like my spotlight, and I shined it on its eyes. And when I put a human light on its eyes, they came up blood red, and I mean they were huge. You know, like our eyes are right here where they are. Well, its eyes were way up over here. You know, on both sides, way over here.
Yeah.
And like,
Exactly.
oh damn! And then
Hmm.
the creature knew it couldn't hide in that tall grass, and it stopped. And it got up, and it put its paws out like a fist, and it made a fist. I'm trying to show
Mm.
you. I can't get it on the camera.
Oh
It made
yeah.
a fist. Honest to God, without making a sound, the whole creature turned into a wolf.
A
The ears
wolf.
came up like a wolf, and the
Yeah.
snout came out like a wolf. And the only reason I knew it wasn't a wolf was
Mm.
it had no tail. But how it did it with its back legs, its feet, everything, I have no idea. It just, without making a sound, it just ship shaped and it turned into a wolf. And I'm looking at the biggest wolf I ever seen. It's walking towards me.
Mhm.
and its eyes are blood red. And as it's getting closer, I'm starting to think, well, maybe I should turn off my headlamp, because I might offend it or get it mad.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Wow.
stops halfway towards me, and it put its paws out flat, like this.
Yeah.
And honest to God, from there, it turned into the biggest grizzly bear I ever seen. The snout went shorter, the ears came down and went rounder, and a hump came up on its back like a grizzly bear, and it literally had claws like a grizzly bear. And I'm like, holy, in my head, holy fuck. I'm not
Yeah. Oh,
speaking out loud
sorry
because
about the
I don't
language,
want to
guys.
scare I don't want to scare this creature away. But remember, at this time, about 20-25 minutes has already gone by. I've been watching this thing walk, and all through that gate and what I've told you, it turned into a wolf and a bear, and then it gets about 8 feet in front of me, and it's still a bear, and it pushes off with its left knee and stands upright right in front of me, about 8 feet apart from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at Bigfoot. And what I'm looking at is something that's 11, 12 feet tall. Uh, I can hold my arms out, and you can add on about I'd say about another 10 inches on each side, and he
Yeah.
was solid muscle, not fat at all, just solid muscle. You know how you think there's a Mr. Universe? This creature was musclier than any human on Earth. And what I when it looked in, like, it actually let me know at one point, uh it wasn't going to harm me, wasn't going to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
It uh it, it was like, you're caught, you're between me and that deer, that my deer's gone, because I looked
Yeah.
back over my back and that deer was gone. And that Bigfoot was like, it kind of gave me a smile. He gave me a smile. That's
Smile.
when I hollered at my crew, again, hey guys, get the fuck up. What is this?
Hey, Wade. Try
And
not to.
well,
Easy on the language, Wade. Easy
well,
on
I'm
the
sorry,
language.
but
Sorry
Yeah,
about
I
that.
had to get him up.
yeah.
I had to get him up.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I had to get him up.
Yeah.
It was my last chance. And then Byard Kirkle jumped up with his flashlight, and he's from Hayes, Montana, and he says, "Runningcrane, what is that?" And I go, at the top of my lungs, I hollered at as loud as I could, with full intentions of waking up the whole camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bigfoot!
Uh,
And
Wow.
I literally did wake up the whole camp.
wow.
Wow. That's
Uh,
Everyone
at
woke up.
that time, if we would have and could have, but the Rangers put us down. They told us, everybody go to bed. They weren't going to record it. No evidence gathering. No nothing. You know what I mean?
huh.
Yeah. It's hush
They
hush.
told us all.
Uh,
Yeah, they just
That's
told us
uh,
when
go
you
to
got.
bed.
That's when you got blackballed, though, right?
Yeah, I got blackballed right after that too.
huh.
Hey, Darren, did you have a question?
Oh yes. Wow. That's this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast. Is you hear odd stories like this. I never heard of a shape shifting Bigfoot like that.
Never.
It's totally incredible. Yeah, it's weird. When you come down to it, did you guys smell anything? Did you guys
Oh
see
yeah,
footprints?
he smelt me. I smelt him. Yep,
Huh? You
we
described
plumb
this.
know each other.
Mm.
uh, did you happen to see any footprints or go back to where you first saw this thing?
Yeah, there were footprints, but the next morning there was so many in the camp. Everybody just
Oh,
trampled all evidence. You know what I mean?
um,
So
Wow.
Yeah,
Then
man.
Everything got trampled.
after that then you became a cryptid
And
investigator,
you
huh?
could hear it when it ran out of our camp. It was crashing through the timber. I
Yeah.
mean, big trees hitting them, breaking branches. And then when it hit the barbed wire fence, you could hear it when it stretched it and snapped it.
Mm.
It just sounded like a bullet. And then you could hear it when it hit the river, Elk Creek River, and ran up the opposite side where we were.
Monk, hair,
Hmm.
male, shapeshift. Oh yeah,
And
yeah. About that, I was gonna ask.
it hung around that camp three
Uh,
days after that.
oh,
Hmm.
so it hung around your camp for 3 days after that encounter. Wow, that's pretty
Uh,
cool. That's wicked right there. But go ahead, Darren.
did it? Did Did anyone happen to see it after that? Anyone else have any encounters? Did anybody see this Bigfoot afterwards?
If they did,
Or do
I
you?
didn't hear anything.
Oh,
I had to stick with my crew. I couldn't go mingle with other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
hmm, hmm.
One of the listeners had a question on here. Let me bring this up here. Let's see here. Yeah, show. Okay. Oh, okay. Bring this back up. Any hairs by chance that fell off? Were you able to gather it? My friend a sample tested. He said the hair comes back as human, but follicle is unknown to any species. Did you see any hair or anything like that?
Not
No.
they wouldn't allow us to go out and gather evidence. Remember I told
Oh
you?
yeah. This is the federal. Yeah, this is the federal.
Yeah,
Then that's where
yeah.
you got
They
blackballed.
oh, oh
Yeah.
man, they were like watching me. Oh, they were watching me. They wouldn't even let me have a Pulaski to protect myself.
My,
Hmm.
wow. Wow.
I knew
Um
but I
I had a
mean, I asked him. I might need a Pulaski.
yeah, I have a question for
What's
you.
up?
What does the Blackfeet have any stories of the shapeshifter, like a trickster type of spirit? Anything like that? You guys have any
Yeah,
stories of?
yeah.
And then,
A lot of stories.
what's his name? Do you guys have a name for him?
If you want to be blunt about it, it's part of Napi,
Oh,
the trickster, the creator.
oh wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty wicked. Yeah, yeah. We
people
we
don't
have some
understand
legends of
that's where
him.
it all comes from. Napi, the
No.
creator.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. So you've been investigating all these cryptid sightings and all these reports on your neck of the woods for 40 years now, huh? And what is the
Yeah.
strangest encounter, the strangest events, that you can remember during your 40-year time?
Oh, lots. Well, first one was right here at my house. My
Oh,
two
yeah.
sons, my
Yes.
two
Like the
sons,
story.
my wife, and my daughter-in-law, Heather Newroad. We all witnessed a Bigfoot, an alien, and four UFOs all at the same time for 2.5 hours right here at my house.
2.5
Wow,
hours.
wow.
Honest to God. Honest to God.
Wow.
Wow.
You just needed a nice drum set and had to have a huge powwow with them. That's all you needed to do.
Well, we live in a real holy place to the Blackfeet. It's called Ghost Hills. See, this is Ghost Ridge,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
this is
That's
Hmm.
this
nice.
is where we live. Up there is
That's
our
pretty nice up
graveyard, our family graveyard.
there. Okay. Wow.
And over here, where I'm showing you, is where it all started. We saw Bigfoot over there. He chased us this way, then over to this arena over here,
Yeah.
and then we saw the alien right here at the tire, and it was going from there to
Wait,
my
wait. What?
fence to my fence brace over here, and it would go over to these tires. See what that pile of tires is over my Bigfoot pickup?
Mhm. Wow.
Wait. You're gonna have to take a step back. Explain this alien. Explain the aliens. Like, what? Describe them. What
Okay,
kind of?
the alien was about 6 feet tall, and uh, he was he was transparent. He looked physical but transparent.
Wow.
Wow.
I know the lizard aliens can do that. I know that they
He
can
had,
make themselves.
he had those big oval shaped eyes,
Yeah.
and he was
Wow.
moving. He was moving like really fast,
Huh.
Mhm.
but he would stop
What?
and then take off again.
Was it just one alien, or was there multiple running
No,
around?
just it was this one.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
ooh,
Do you
uh,
remember what kind of the craft looked like? The shape of it.
No, we didn't get that close of a look. They were up there above us all the time, and the one we seen over there, me and my son together, it looked like a car or with headlights and taillights, and then it starts spinning and doing weird shit, and freaked us out.
wow.
And right where it was doing all that, the willows are so thick in there, nothing can even hardly get through there.
Hmm. So,
Wow.
uh, how does it feel just calling this place home after all this? Going through the Bigfoot, UFOs, aliens. Like, does it bother you? Does your family worry
Uh,
about?
all through history, my people have been living with this stuff around us forever. We just coexist with it.
Wow.
Mm. Now, Mr. Runningcrane, from what I remember, you would tell me that you seen a Bigfoot carry a grizzly bear, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people seen that, and also a baby inside a nest eating. What'd you say? Was it an elk? Was it one more time? Could you share with
Moose.
that with a moose? Okay.
Moose. Um, we had a site where I'd say about pretty close to maybe 6 or 7 Bigfoots were all
Wow.
together.
Uh-huh.
And you could see where they were all sleeping. And what they would do is they would just defecate where they were sleeping and roll in it.
That's why they
Huh.
stink.
And then when they would pee, they would just roll in it. But they would
Hmm.
sleep right by the same play area. You could see where they were sleeping, everything. It's still, in fact, that place right where they were will doesn't grow nothing now.
Ooh.
Hmm.
And then there
Ooh.
was this big juniper bush that in that same area uh,
Yeah.
that they went and one of them laid on or slept on because they're really soft and comfortable, like a mattress, and it just killed that whole juniper bush.
Hmm.
That's some. That's That's kind of gross. That is gross right
And,
there. But it's
and,
a
the,
sight
and
to
the
see.
other thing was we had footprints. Uh, if my partner would have shared them with me, I don't know. He thinks I'm going to steal his footprint, and he's got it on his phone.
Mm,
I just told him I wanted to share it with you folks, but anyway, we have a footprint that he could show you.
mm.
And
Yeah.
that one time, there was a handprint of a female on a screen window. And if you go outside and stood where that Bigfoot was standing and looking in, you'd have to be about 10 feet tall.
That's a
And
huge boy right there.
but
It's a huge boy.
when the Bigfoot touched the window, there was a screen on it. It was kind of a tight, strong screen, and it pushed it in somewhat and left a oily uh, fingerprint or handprint, and you could literally see the whole hand.
Wow.
Oh man.
Uh,
But
Go ahead, Darren. Uh,
I didn't have the fingernail or fingerprinting equipment I have today to document it. Otherwise,
Mhm.
I could have documented it.
Oh
Hmm.
man, jeez.
So,
Over. Go ahead there.
so with this incident that happened, did you guys see any footprints, or did did you smell anything here? Did the UFO make any sounds? Anything like
The
that?
next, well, it was pretty dark by the time the whole incident kind of closed out, and we were pretty exhausted, like from all the excitement. Uh,
Oh,
the next morning, me and my son went out and investigated the whole area. No
yes.
footprints. There was no footprints because the ground's pretty solid.
Mm,
It ain't muddy or nothing like that. And
Yeah.
except over in this field, out my window. Okay, over that way is where that Bigfoot crawled away from us and got away, went back that way, and the alien just disappeared from that tire, and like it got beamed up.
huh.
Wow. Um, I had another question right there. With our viewers, you told a story that a dog carried a leg in one time.
Yeah,
Then the ranger took it, and the dog brought in another leg the next few days later.
this is all
Well,
true story. You'll meet these gentlemen when you get here.
Yeah, can't
Hire
wait.
them up. Bruce Schelt.
Mhm.
Okay, they both live in the same area where I'm talking about. Uh, the dogs drug into Hiram Upham's house a baby Bigfoot leg, and we had flesh, we had bone, we had the hip, and part of the ribs and the spine. Well, the fishing game got hold of it, and they made all the evidence disappear.
Yep,
that's
it's
just
still
My
classic.
there.
my tribal council sent me to go request that they give us our evidence back, and
Yep.
they told me, oh, the evidence was a beaver, and Mr. Runningcrane, the evidence also came up that it was missing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's just classic.
Classic.
And
Yeah.
Classic.
then they told me, Mr. Runningcrane, as of now, this interview is over. You must leave.
Wow.
Just like that.
Uh,
Mm.
well, what to do for people that come across stuff like this? Take many pictures you can. Take piece of meat, hair, whatever you can before these
Oh,
government people
believe
come
you
by.
me, I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah. What we need more is evidence. Like
Yeah, I know.
anything,
Well,
anything,
we're gonna
everything
get
when it
it
comes down to it. Oh
between
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Between us, we can do it.
Mm,
Yep. We just gotta get
we're
up
we're
there, make some
yeah we're
good
just
time, and definitely get some evidence. And definitely. There's another story that I wanted you to share with us. Was you seen a cryptid in the lake that looked
Yep.
like a frog and a dinosaur? Go
Yeah,
ahead, share that with us.
we were just discussing that with my brother-in-law here not too long ago. That giant frog that looks like a dinosaur in Duck Lake.
Oh, Duck Lake. Okay, Duck Lake,
Oh,
Montana.
damn! Gave my location away. But I grew up there. I grew up there. My father used to own half of that lake, and he sold it to the tribe for parks and recreation.
hmm.
Well,
Parks and
Well,
anyhow, we
yeah,
used to live there, and I seen this creature a couple times when I was growing up. But
yeah,
the third time, I tried to capture it, and it never comes out of the water. It just stays up to its chest in the water, so it can submerge and escape if it feels threatened. Well,
wow.
this
Oh
creature
wow.
came out of the water somewhat, just a little bit one time. And what I saw was it had web feet with claws, and it was a frog in shape, but it had a giant tadpole tail. And I'm trying to hold my phone so you can see my hands, but it had like wait now let me get my hands to cooperate. It had like platelets going up and down its spine, like shaped like this.
Like a
You know what I
dinosaur.
mean?
Yeah. Uh
But they got smaller from the head and then got larger and bigger as they went down the spine, and they got smaller again as they went to the tadpole tail because
living
the
dinosaur.
tadpole tail was how it propelled itself,
Hmm.
and the
Wow.
web feet it
Wow,
could swim. But
wow, it's just
also this frog, when it wasn't like other normal frogs or are bullfrogs. I know. Let me answer my wife's phone. Interference. To
well,
my son Zach,
life.
he's the other witness that seen those all that stuff I just told you about.
Yeah. Yeah, I spoke with his son about a couple of weeks ago. He was telling me, collaborating the same thing that he was telling me, and eventually I'm gonna get him on here. His son is a former army, former he did some time in the service, served the country and
And
everything.
every one of us have a different version of what happened,
Huh.
That's some
what
good
we
Uh,
stuff right there.
experienced.
Multiple witnesses. Yeah. Going
do
back
you,
to that frog thing, do you remember how the size of it, the dimensions of how huge this thing was?
I would, to be honest, okay, I would say it was about 3 feet tall and probably I'd say about almost 2.5 feet wide. And the whole total length of it, I would say could have been about 5 feet, 6 feet.
Long, huh?
uh,
Yeah.
Living
right here.
dinosaur.
Do,
Hmm.
does your does
We
your
have a lot of,
tribe does your tribe have a name for any type of water creatures like that out there, or is you?
they've never been documented.
Huh.
That's why there's a lot of stuff even in Arizona and other places that have never been documented,
Hmm.
recorded. Uh, and it's time that we start recording some of this stuff.
Yes, yes, it is. That's why we started this podcast, is to gather as much information from every nation out there. But this is just incredible. Like this is one thing uh, I love about the Native American culture is when one person says they see something, usually they see something else or have go through other paranormal events. So it's just not like, yeah, we just seen Bigfoot. Like it doesn't stop right there.
Well,
Like
believe me,
the tails
I,
go.
I've been mocked so many times by people and put down, but I don't let that bother me because I know what reality I'm coming from. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's another reason why we started this podcast, is just to give another safe haven for people that go through unnormal events like this.
Yeah.
We're for the
And,
listeners and everybody here.
and
We're not here to judge.
my my men,
I
my
believe you.
mental
I believe you.
doctor, my psychological doctor, I went and seen him. I said, "Hey, am I crazy?" And he told me, "All right, Mister Runningcrane, what makes you think you're crazy?" Well, after I told him what I've already shared with you folks, he says, "Oh, that really happened! Wow!" He said, "Leave this office knowing full well you're a very sane man."
Huh. Uh,
Mr. Runningcrane, is there anything you would like to share with our guests that are tuned in watching? Do you have
Just
anything to
open
say?
your minds. There's a lot of stuff out there that's really worth recording and checking out, investigating yourself. You can even be an investigator.
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Well,
love
this
it. I love it.
what about you, Darren? Do you got anything you want to say for the guests? We're we're coming to the end of our little show today, so
Oh,
gonna
I
be
just
out.
want to say, thank you for coming on and sharing incredible stories. Like I never heard of.
One more story before we go.
Go ahead. You got 5 minutes.
Uh, in the Lazy Boy camp up west in southern Alberta or in western Alberta, they have a small boys camp. They have little people there. And also, when you go to the Crow Indian Reservation, they have lots of little people there too.
Yeah,
We just
Bear
might
Tooth
have to
Mountain Range.
bring you
Rocky
back and
Boy
have you
has
tell.
little people. Rocky Boy also just recently had a sighting of Bigfoot down there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's
I,
the little people's deity. I know the little people, they say, takes care of them, make sure the water runs and the grass grow. Yeah, that's what one of the stories I remember hearing my time working there. They're also all around the Bear Tooth Mountain Range. They would come out in the evening time, so a lot of the locals have stories, days on little people in that area. We just need to camp out with our, camera night vision. We can get
there,
some evidence.
there's a really holy sacred place that was a place of peace for all Native Americans at one time, and it was called the Belly Buttes.
Belly Buttes.
And when you go there,
Hmm.
you'll see what I mean. How holy and sacred this place is. It's a place of peace where all the tribes used to meet
Hmm.
and never fight war, or steal, or raid each other. Nothing. It
Wow,
Hmm.
that
was
sounds like
just
a
a
beautiful
place of
place.
peace. It is. It's really awesome. And there's also little people there.
Hmm. Even
Definitely,
better.
definitely got to go check that out. Um,
I
yeah,
can
thank
even show
you.
you a city where they live.
A city?
You'll be
Wow.
you'll be standing on it and you won't even know you're on it until
Yeah,
I point it out.
yeah, that's a lot of the. They would say one of the entrances to get into the little people's domain would be getting into a tree that was struck by lightning. That'd be one of the ways to get into the world. You get into that tree, you make it hollow in the inside. As soon as you get through, it opens up the ground. And then once you get in there, they'd be like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be in here, but while you're here, this is what you have to do." They won't let you go for
Yeah.
free. You would have to do something for sure, or you wouldn't even come back at all.
But
You
I'll
know.
tell you this, I don't want to go there.
But hey, Mister Running Crane, thank you.
Huh?
Thank you for joining us. It's been
You're
fun.
welcome.
It's been a real
Yeah.
pleasure joining us here on Don't Whistle at Night podcast, and I'm gonna be bringing it in, and a thank you for all our viewers here. Thank you for tuning in to Don't Whistle at Night. We have been broadcasting here on United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM from New Orleans, and you guys have
And
a
that's
great night.
this is a Bigfoot truck.
There he goes.